guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at Abby Yates from the new 2016 Ghostbusters. Now, regardless of what you think about, them giving us Ghostbusters again in a kind of reimagined sort of way, there is one thing that I am absolutely thrilled about. And that's the fact that walking down the toy aisles of various retailers, it's awesome to see Ghostbusters merchandise on the shelves again. Whether it be these new characters from the new film, or the re-releases from the Mattel Collector line that's a Walmart exclusive, it is fantastic that Ghostbusters is again being talked about. And like I said, regardless of if this movie turns out to be good, regardless if you think that it looks terrible, it is making Ghostbusters relevant again. And little kids are talking about it once more. And that, in my opinion, is a very good thing. Now for these new figures, you can see you got the nice Ghostbuster logo here. You got the Ghostbuster kind of classic logo right there. You got a nice open window display that shows Abby, as well as the arms for Rowan, which, as you can see, it's a collect and connect sort of figure. So each four of these new Ghostbusters come with different parts that you can attach to create, an articulated Rowan, which is what we have here on the back. It says collect all figures to build the Rowan figure, and then it's got it in different languages. You can see Abby Yates, Aaron Gilbert, Jillian Holtzman, and Patty Tolan. And obviously you got this nice kind of green slime sort of look going throughout there. You got various warnings and things like that on the bottom. But for the packaging, that's about it for it. So without further ado, let's get her open and see how cool she actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Abby open up and out of her packaging. And as the package showed, she does come with the right and left arm of Rowan. From what I can tell, there will probably be some shoulder rotation, and then you can also see that the wrists rotate, but they're just molded in this white plastic. And as we kind of progress, showing the rest of these figures, I'm going to be building this figure, so you'll get to see that as it kind of progresses. As for Abby herself, though, I'm actually really happy with how this figure turned out. Now, I don't know if it's just because people want to complain about the movie or what, but complaints are going around because they're saying that this doesn't look like the actress. And honestly, it's a retail figure, so I don't expect really too much in terms of accurate likenesses. But one thing that I do want to do is do a comparison with, because kind of she's like the Rey character in this new movie. So I wanted to bring in the Mattel Collector Rey figure here, and his ankle's all jacky, but setting that there and coming in, as you can see, this really didn't look very much like Rey himself. I'm sorry, it never really did. And this was a collector sort of figure. It wasn't retail or anything like that. So honestly, I really do feel that people just are wanting to complain about these figures just because they're complaining about the movies. And I don't think that that's really a fair kind of assessment for it. It's a good figure regardless. For the size, though, you can basically see that the new figures do kind of fit with the 6-inch scale, which is, pretty nice. Now, one thing that is actually really cool about this figure is the Proton pack is removable. That was actually something that they did later on with, I think it was the 30th anniversary Ghostbuster figures. They made it where the packs were removable. They were trying to get us to buy or pre-order a Ecto 1. It's a little bit tricky to get the Proton pack off. And they needed to make figures that had removable Proton packs so that they could actually have the figure sit inside the Ecto 1. So they developed those new Ghostbuster figures for like the 30th anniversary line, and they kind of continue that on here with these new 2016 figures. One thing that I'll say though about the Proton pack, I don't mind the look on it. I actually think it looks pretty cool. But one thing that I'm seeing is there is a substantial lack of paint detail on here. You got some like blue and red paint right there, and then yellow right there. Really, it is lacking a lot of paint detail on here. There should be like a little warning thing right here. This whole centerpiece here should be red, or at least some red fading or anything. I do like how they painted the straps here. You got that little orange that kind of matches with the rest of the actual suit, but it's just basically molded in this kind of bronze kind of color. And it is lacking a lot of paint detail. As you can see, the wand does peg in here fairly nicely, but one thing that I'm also noticing, based on a lot of the pictures that I'm seeing, this is the top of the actual gun. You can even see that there's some like buttons and things right there. In every single picture that I've seen, it actually pegs in, or it should peg in on the other side. They got the peg hole on the top, and it really should be on the bottom to give a look like this. Now, that's a little bit unfortunate that they don't even have that right on here, but it's Mattel. I mean, you know, kind of go with whatever they basically give us. But the Proton pack actually is pretty good. Comparing it to the way that the old one looked here, I mean, you can see that the old one has a lot more color. It has a similar kind of look to it, although it is a little bit more upside down. I guess you could go like that and make it look like the more vintage kind of look, but they have a lot more paint detail in the old school one than they did here on this one. But they do look pretty good here on this new guy. I am happy with how that turned out. Now, setting that right there, you can, I mean, even if you want to, you can actually just kind of stand it up there. I mean, it's got a flat bottom, so you can just put it like that. But the figure really does look pretty cool. You got the nice Ghostbuster logo here on her right arm. You got these really cool orange stripes, and then like this very nice silver paint that gives a kind of reflection kind of look to it. Nothing really spectacular going on there. I mean, you can see that pouches are all throughout the actual sculpting and everything. It says Yates right up here. She does have glasses, which are kind of ugly, to be totally honest with you. They look more like goggles, but you can kind of see like how thick they are, so they have a much more goggle kind of look to them. All these new figures have a little bit of lipstick that's actually on, which I'm okay about. It honestly does kind of like look like the arm is, I mean, you can see flush fairly well there. This one almost looks like it's on the wrong arm. Maybe this is assembled wrong or something, but this kind of looks like this has two right arms when you look at it. You can kind of see how it bulges out on the inside there. So I'm not 100% sure if that is assembled properly, but it definitely looks... I'm trying to get a good look here. I'm trying to see. It definitely looks like they are the same piece. I don't think that it's supposed to be like that, but it does look like this was assembled wrong. But I do like the overall look on the suit itself. You got the orange and gray belt right down here. You got the little stripes down here on the boots. Overall, pretty decent looking. Now, for her articulation, I do think that it is basically the exact same as those original Ghostbuster figures. So I do think that at the base of the neck here, there's a bit of a ball joint, but because of the way that the sculpting is around the collar, you don't really get any, you know, kind of pivot or anything. Looks left and right, though, fairly nicely. The shoulders here are on pin hinge joints, so they're pinned in. You get a nice rotation, and then they hinge up and down. You got the pin hinge joints here for the elbows as well, so you can get those moving forward and back, and those also rotate. The wrists do have a swivel, so you can rotate that around very nicely. Coming around here to the waist, there's also waist rotation. Hips move forward, they move back, they move in and out. I mean, very ugly joints, much like those original Ghostbuster figures. So, design-wise, it didn't change really too much from those originals. You have a swivel up here at the midpoint of the thigh. You have a bend here at the knee. The ankles move forward. They move back. I mean, although that looks really very disturbing. And they also do have a little bit of a pivot to them. It's kind of hard to actually get it to pivot. Some are a little bit more difficult than others, but it does basically seem like those joints are kind of sort of there. So putting her Proton pack back on, it's like I said, it's a little bit tricky to do, but it is cool that you can remove it. I really dig that, and it does make me hope that they give us an Ecto at some point in time, maybe for this new movie, because I actually don't mind the way that looks either. So slipping that on there, getting those down. I also really like how the straps actually look really good on the rest of the body. It's almost like they are part of the sculpt. I mean, you can see that they fit on here really nicely, how they're actually kind of contoured around. So, in general, really good look for the figure. I'm quite happy with how she turned out. I do kind of wish that she came with more accessories or something, other than the, you know, Rowan parts. I mean, I don't know what she could have come with, because, like I said, we haven't seen the actual movie yet, so I don't know what she could have came with, but some extra accessories would have obviously put it over a little bit more and made me enjoy it a little bit. But at $20, I don't feel that these are really all that bad in terms of figures. The likeness is is decent. It's not a spot-on representation of the character, obviously, but neither were those original Ghostbuster figures that Matty Collector gave us. So, all in all, I'm happy with the figure. I think that she turned out fairly well. And if you're open to the film, I think that the toys are actually coming out pretty good. So if you're interested in picking this up, this new wave of Ghostbuster figures is hitting retail right now. Or as always, there's Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on her, as well as the rest of the 2016 Ghostbuster figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video to please like and share it. Also, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you never miss a future review of mine. And as always, until next time, I'll talk to you later.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.